Donald Trump was just humiliated after Afghanistan's leaders publicly exposed his latest foreign policy disaster. Earlier this week, Trump tried to bully them into handing over territory, and now the plan has completely backfired. Instead of giving in, Afghanistan is openly taunting Trump and preparing to push back. Donald Trump is always saying that he's the peacemaking president, but he might turn out to be the first president to actually start a war by accident. So stick around to see how badly this blew up in Trump's face, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. So earlier this week, Donald Trump visited the United Kingdom, and during one of his press conferences, he told reporters that he was going to be negotiating with the Taliban leaders of Afghanistan to take over some of their territory. Now, this was shocking news to the press because Donald Trump literally never mentioned this before, leading to some people to speculate that he might have just made something up so he had something to announce. Seriously, just look at the shock on the Prime Minister's face.
We're going to leave Afghanistan, but we're going to leave it with strength and dignity. And we're going to keep Bagram, the big air base, one of the biggest air bases in the world. We gave it to them for nothing. We're trying to get it back, by the way. Okay, that could be a little breaking news. We're trying to get it back because they need things from us. We want that base back. But one of the reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons.
And after the entire world got curious about this out-of-the-blue announcement, Trump spent the entire week telling the world that he was now working with the Taliban to come up with some kind of agreement. The only problem is, this was a complete lie.
Mr. President, what goes into retaking Bagram? Does that require boots on the ground?
We'll see what happens with Bagram. We're talking to Afghanistan. It should have never been given up. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. There was no reason to give it up. I was leaving Afghanistan. I was leaving. I was the one that got it down to 5,000 soldiers, but we were going to keep Bagram.
Donald Trump claimed that he was going to convince the leaders of Afghanistan to give back a large Air Force base in the country. But after 8 months, Trump hasn't even negotiated trade deals with America's closest allies. So I don't think he can make this negotiation work with one of America's biggest enemies. And it isn't just me who thinks this plan won't work. The leaders of the Taliban itself called out Donald Trump this week, saying that he definitely has not been negotiating anything with them, and that even if he was, they would never give America a military base in their country. The leaders of the Taliban are now calling out Trump for making up rumors about them. How embarrassing is that? And as you can imagine, Donald Trump does not like people who point out his incompetence. So instead of admitting that he was lying, Trump went off on Truth Social about Afghanistan. In a completely disgraceful outburst, Trump posted this week, "If Afghanistan doesn't give Bagram base back to those who built it, the United States of America, bad things are going to happen." Donald Trump not only looks like a totally immature child for this post, but the fact that he's now threatening to attack Afghanistan only proves that he wasn't really negotiating with them in the first place. And once again, the Taliban wasn't putting up with Trump's nonsense. They immediately held a press conference with the chief of their army, who claimed that they are not afraid of Donald Trump, and that he will never take back any part of their country.
Bagram, the military base that was once the epicenter of U.S. operations in Afghanistan, is back in U.S. President's bucket list. Trump has renewed demands of getting the Bagram air base back, but Taliban government in Kabul has refused to cede ground. Taliban leaders have given a sharp response to Trump's demands. Taliban Army Chief Qari Fasihuddin says there are no talks underway. He added that a deal over even an inch of Afghanistan soil is not possible. In a strong worded statement, he said Taliban fears no wealth and not tyranny.
See teeth those who brought foreigners here, made them rulers over themselves and wanted to rule by force. They were cowards and timid. Out of their fear they sought refuge with unbelievers. Relying on the great God, we fear no one, no wealth and no tyranny. And we proved this over 2 decades of jihad against the occupation, against America and its allies. We proved that we never feared.
The leaders of Afghanistan are directly calling out the president, saying that he was a liar, saying that he will never take back any part of their country, and even reminding him that after 2 decades, America couldn't defeat them. I think it's safe to say that this time, Donald Trump may have bitten off more than he can chew. In fact, I've never seen someone stand up to Trump so fast, and really, besides invading the country, there isn't really anything that Trump can do about it. I mean, after all, tariffs don't do anything to a country that you don't even trade with. Now, the US military could technically start a second invasion of Afghanistan, but that would tank Trump's already disastrous poll numbers. But there's actually a second reason that Trump might want to think twice about that idea as well. You see, just this weekend, the foreign minister of China announced that the Chinese government is dedicated to peace in the region and would be opposed to anyone ramping up tensions with its Western neighbors.
China respects Afghanistan's territorial integrity and sovereignty. The future of Afghanistan should be in the hands of the Afghanistan people. What I want to stress is that hyping up regional tension do not win support. We hope relevant sides could play a constructive role for regional stability.
China doesn't have any official alliance with Afghanistan, but its support could prop up the country in a way that makes it not only much harder, but maybe even impossible for America to regain a foothold so far from home. This whole situation is really a major lose-lose for Donald Trump. If he actually does start a major new war in the Middle East, he could become the single least popular president of all time, not to mention the possibility of just losing the war. But if Trump does nothing, the Taliban could just keep taunting him and showing the world that no one should take him seriously. Now, in one final attack for the week, the defense minister of Afghanistan recalled his own quote from 2021. "We told them that if you stay, then we're ready to fight for another 20 years. That is what the Taliban told the US Army 4 years ago, and that is their message for Donald Trump this week. With that insane mic drop, I think we can all agree that the ball is in Donald Trump's court, but only time will tell what he does with it. Comment below your predictions. Will Trump start another endless war or chicken out of a fight that he himself started?